Welcome to Food Vendor 101. In this video, we're going to be talking about the differences between starting a food truck and a food booth. If we've never met before, my name is Frankie Epifani with Food Vendor 101, and this is where the entrepreneurial spirit goes to learn. I teach entrepreneurs how to become food vendors. I am the co-founder of The Spot, which is a very successful food and beverage company that focuses on music festivals and on air shows. Hey, tag somebody in the comments that you think might benefit from this video or find it interesting. Also guys, can you hit the heart button or even the wow face if you can hear me loud and clear? We are going to take a second to share this broadcast. I have my wife Farah in the studio here with me, and she's going to go ahead and share this live video on my personal Facebook page. You know what? If you guys could take the time to share this live video on your page as well, I would really appreciate it. If you're watching live or if you are on the rebroadcast of this video, let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. I jump on here even after the live broadcast is done and engage with people. So definitely make sure to leave a comment. All right, guys. So in today's show, I'm going to talk about the differences between being a food vendor and having a food truck. I want you to understand that I'm not here to say that one is better than the other. My show is intended to share my knowledge in the industry and help future entrepreneurs such as yourself make an informed decision. This decision starts with the long-term financial obligations and commitments you will be making when choosing whether you want to invest in a food booth or invest in a food truck. Last week, I shared with you the startup costs of a 10-foot booth that it goes around $3,500, whereas the average starting cost on a food truck is about $50,000. Now, there's nothing wrong with financing $50,000 to do something that you are extremely passionate about. But what I am saying is rather than making such a large commitment, not only financially, but one that will require even more of your time, why not start as a food booth vendor where you can see if this is a business that you enjoy working? If you are successful as a food vendor, you can always add a food truck to your business later on down the road, and that would even add value to your business. Now, there will be some bumps in the road when starting a food booth, such as finding an insurance company to insure your business will be somewhat of a challenge with a food booth, but not with a food truck. But that doesn't mean that it won't be impossible to get it. I will be sharing with you guys in lessons where you can go to get insured, and guess what? It's actually cheaper to be insured as a food booth than it would be as a food truck. Not to mention that a food booth doesn't have to worry about finding a commissary to store their truck after every event and to make prep and store their food there as well. Commissaries can cost an average of $12,000 a year. This can be an unexpected expense if not taken into consideration. Commissaries are required by the health department in most cities. Another thing to consider with a food truck is if you have a food truck, you're limited on the amount of space that you can store food to sell at an event. And that will limit the amount of money that you're able to make per show. When I set up a booth, I'm able to have as many freezers or refrigerators as I need to get through the event without ever selling out and leaving money on the table. Another thing to consider is the amount of space a food truck has to set up points of sale. Normally, they can comfortably set up 2 points of sale, whereas a 20-foot food booth has the ability to set up 6 points of sale. Now think about that for a minute. If you are selling food at a big festival and you got a 4-hour time frame, that will be the peak of your sales. Wouldn't you rather have 6 points of sale? The answer is yes. I'm not saying food trucks are bad because they can't, accommodate more points of sale. It's a good thing that their payroll is pretty small in comparison to a food booth. And there are times where slow and steady does win the race. Most food trucks are run by 1 to 2 people. A lot of times it's family run, and that's a whole nother show where I will share the positives and negatives on working with family. Another thing to consider is when owning a food truck, you will have a vehicle, generator, and equipment maintenance, whereas in a food booth, you can rent trucks and only have equipment maintenance to worry about. Think about what would happen, okay, if you're driving to an event in your food truck and it breaks down. Hey guys, wouldn't that suck? If you agree, write yes in the comments below if that were to happen. You basically are stuck fixing your truck and hoping to make it to the next event, whereas as a food booth, all you have to do is get another rental truck and swap out your equipment into the new truck and not even stress about missing out on the event. Now, food trucks have it made when it comes to the flexibility to make some money last minute, whereas food vendors are limited to the scheduled events they are signed up to. These events many times are scheduled months in advance, and some of the larger festivals are scheduled close to a year in advance. That makes it difficult to make some last minute money if you are a food vendor. Okay, so another positive I enjoy about being a food vendor is that I don't have to go looking for customers or trying to secure the right location within my city that will ensure I have foot traffic. As a food booth, we have promoters at festivals that guarantee the attendance for us. Again, guys, food trucks are our friends and are necessary are our friends and are just as necessary as food booths. Okay, so that's that. I am simply pointing out the differences and suggesting if you are considering selling food and want to get into the industry, you do have a cheaper, profitable option. Okay, I hope this information was useful. If you have any questions or if you'd like to suggest any topics for me to discuss in future videos, please leave them in the comments below. Join me next week because I'm going to be doing my Facebook Live show every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to learn more about becoming a food vendor, please visit our website at foodvendor101.com and sign up to our mailing list. Until next week, keep hustling and keep killing it. I'll talk to you soon.